traveled to different countries. I've traveled to foreign lands. I found no one who can tell me just what is the soul of a man. Well, I want someone to tell me, answer if you can. Want someone to tell me just what is the soul of a man. Greetings. Well, here I am sitting out of the rain. You can all hear it in the background there. My sidekick Gracie is right here with me too. She's waiting for the rain to stop so she can go out and find herself a lizard or a mouse or something. Right, Gracie? It's been kind of an odd week for me. Yeah, it could be that it just rains and rains and rains and rains. And so, I actually went in the studio and played some guitar. Thank you very much for the comments. I haven't done that for a while, so we were all lucky that it came out good enough to listen to. But, yeah, what is the soul of a man? I spent a large part of my life early on, in Christian schools. And, of course, hey, man, they all know human beings got a soul, right? Yeah, if we didn't have a soul, they'd be out of business. There'd be not much anything for them to actually do. So, that's an important part for churches and religions, is that humans have souls. I was on phone yesterday with my brother, May Day. He's in Illinois, northern Illinois. It was his birthday, and so I called him up and I wished him a happy birthday, and we talked. We had a great talk. We got into talking about pets. He's in 3 schnauzers in a row have passed away on my brother. He says, I have no more schnauzers. And yeah, truth is that, after my last pet, Roy the koi fish, passed away due to an accident, along with all of his other buddies. I was pretty certain I wasn't having any more pets either. No more koi fish for now. I don't know. But then I didn't ask for it directly, but Gracie showed up, and guess I got a good buddy these days again. But yeah, we were talking, and my brother was telling me about the time he'd been gone for 2.5 years in the Army, and he took a plane back from Germany into Chicago, and rented a car, drove to my mom's house, and he still had the key, and he said he'd come to the front door, and ordinarily, the family dogs would bark and bark and bark and bark and bark when anybody came to the door. Yeah, it didn't matter. They'd bark. Well, he went to go to the door and realized there were no dogs barking. He was a little worried. He was afraid maybe they had passed away while he was in the Army. Well, he put the key in the lock, he turned the door and opened it up, and no, both of the dogs were there. And our oldest, longest family pet, Dinah, cross between Springer Spaniel and a Black Terrier, she was. And, she took one look at him, and it was just like, wow, it's Bob. And she promptly lost control and peed all over the floor. She was so excited. But Bob's point on this was telling me, he says, they always barked whenever anybody came to the door. But when I came to the door after being gone for 2.5 years, they didn't bark. They were speechless. He says, how did they know that? So, I don't know, Bob. It is a bit mysterious as far as life, period. But our relationships with our pets is, well, shall we say, how deep and how serious all that is has gradually evolved in my own mind throughout life. And well, I threw one back at him. I said, well, it goes the other way too, because well, we had a cat named Marty when I was a boy. No, it was the first cat we ever had, and he was a good one. He was a tomcat though, and so he would tend to wander, and well, we loved him, and well, one day he wandered off and didn't come back. Well, we kind of figured in the house that, well, Marty probably got hit by a truck or something, so I was the only one in the house who actually hadn't given up the torch for Marty. I said, he's out there, he'll come back. Right? He'll come back, Gracie. And she's worried. But, well, I was early high school age, I guess. I was laying in my bed, I'm sound asleep, but I don't know I'm asleep. I come into this dream, vision, whatever you want to call it, that where I thought I was awake, and the cat jumps up on the bed next to me, starts purring, and so I reach out and I go, Marty, you're home. And so I pet the cat. I'm so happy. And then, I fall back asleep with the cat. And I wake up in the morning and get ready to go to school, and cat's not on my bed, so I walk out into the kitchen after getting dressed, and I go, hey, Mom, where's Marty? She looks at me and she says, Bill, are you feeling okay? I go, yeah, I'm fine, Mom. Where's the cat? She says, Bill, the cat's been gone for 6 months. We figure it's dead. Oh, no. Cat came last night. She says, no, there's no cat, Bill. All right, I go off to school. But I came back home that afternoon, and it was my brother who remembered on the phone yesterday that, yeah, about 3 o'clock in the afternoon or so, somewhere about that, suddenly Marty jumps up on the living room window and starts meowing. And, well, we're all, wow. We open the door, a cat comes home, and it was pretty amazing. Everybody's still, what the hell's with Bill? How did he know? Well, it's apparently a talent, I guess. I didn't ask for it. I don't control it. Yeah, but my relationship with pets, my relationship with death is odd. It's different. I know things that ordinarily we wouldn't know. Simple way to put it. Things most people don't know, sometimes I know. So, anyway, so we were talking about the family dog, and I'd said that Bob had told me that, dogs didn't bark when he came home from the Army. But they knew who he was. And I said, well, animals are mysterious, and our relationship with them I have yet to fathom. All I know is there's more to it than meets the eye, because our dog Dinah, she lived a long time. Yeah, I don't think any of us are really exactly sure, but probably around 20 years is how long this dog lived. I believe she survived almost entirely on love and my mother's veterinary care. Yeah, anytime Dinah hit something wrong, she'd take her to the vet. So, anyway, and I eventually, moved out of the house, and then, of course, eventually I moved away from the state even, and so it might have been, 3, 6, or sometimes even 12 months in between intervals where I would actually meet Dinah again. I come home, visit the folks, and the dog would always remember me, But it became infrequent. It became even more infrequent eventually once I nearly had a death accident with the family on the road traveling for Christmas, and I just kind of got tired of the commute between northern Wisconsin and Chicago, and I really limited it after that. I didn't see the dog much anymore. Well, it was years later. The dog had passed away. I guess it didn't have as much of an impact on me as it might have had if I'd been right there, you know. It's distant, gradually have been kind of put space between me and Dinah. But anyway, I'm living on my own. I got a family, a farm in Wisconsin, you know, and I'm sleeping away in my bed one night, and suddenly I fall into a vision or a dream where, again, I think I'm awake, and suddenly a curly black dog jumps up from the bedroom floor onto my bed. Well, because I'm in a dream state, it doesn't dawn on me. This is my dog. I know that. This is my dog, Dinah. And I start petting her, and we're having a good time. I had seen her for a long time. I really enjoy this. And all of a sudden, it crosses my mind. I can feel the dog's warm fur. But I know this dog's been dead for years. It strikes me like a bolt of lightning. And I look down at her and I go, Dinah, you're dead. Well, of course, the dog doesn't talk. But she communicates with me. And she agrees. She says, yeah, I know. I've been here, though. I've been here watching you guys. Just making sure everything's okay. But I gotta go now. It's my time. Well, who am I to argue with the soul of a deceased dog? And so I gave it one more pet and let it go. She disappeared. Never heard from her again. Was the end. She moved on. Anyway, my brother had never heard that story. And so we had one heck of a conversation yesterday, that's for sure. But yeah, he'd never heard that story. But Bob knows me well enough. He didn't doubt my words. So, anyway, yeah, I think it said after my pet koi fish, Charlie the carp, had an accident and he was gone. I had no more pets. I was probably about as tight with Charlie as a man can ever be with a fish. Yeah. I used to be able to pick him up out of the pond and talk to him and pet him and feed him fish food and put him back in. I could call him by name and he'd come to me and let me pick him up, rub his stomach, you know. And I could ask him to go get the other fish by name and Charlie would do this. We were close for a man and a fish. Yeah, when I was here, an accident occurred. Pond sprung a leak. Ellen couldn't control it, and we lost the fish. Well, the next night, while I was half awake, half asleep, in an alpha state, a golden koi fish came swimming into my mind, swimming around me, actually, in the space around me. It was Charlie. And it was Charlie assuring me he will go in my side. He's staying. I told him, though, don't do that. You got to go to the light, Charlie. It took me a while, but I convinced him, and the spirit of my koi fish went away, like my dog. Never saw him again. Well, okay, so all of that said, kind of hard for me to talk about these things sometimes, but what I'm leading up to is Gracie. Yes, I'm leading up to Gracie. You know, as those of you who have been following videos where I mentioned about her cat, you know, she adopted us. We didn't adopt her. Yeah, she came in out of the woods and said, "Hey, I need help." And so we helped, and that was all she wrote. After that, Gracie became part of the family, and well, over time now, since last May when she arrived, we have really grown tighter and tighter. Both Ellen to the cat, me to the cat to both of us, and back. You know, yeah, we've totally become family. It's just the three of us, you know. So I find I like her more than any other cat I ever had. Yeah, she's special. Very, very smart animal. Good judgment. She decided to come live with us. I think that was very good judgment on her part. She'll have a wonderful life. But, well, you know, as I said, I've experienced loss with pets in the past, and so, you know, I'm not hot on the idea, frankly, of doing it again. It's like my brother said yesterday, lost 3 schnauzers, no more. Yeah, so, but it was inevitable. There was no way around it, really. It was going to happen. And so, well, little by little by little, that cat just works its way into my heart. These days, I tell her about every morning, "You're one of my best friends." Yeah, she really is. Follows us everywhere. Wants to be part of everything we do. Rather unusual for a cat in a way, because most cats, from my experience in the past, yeah, they'll be lovey. They like their bosses, definitely because we got the food, but, you know, they're pretty independent, too. And a little bit, seem a little aloof, you know. And not this one. She wants to be part of everything around here. And so, you know, so we let her. And I'm used to turning around all the time and find, oh, there's the cat. You know, because she's following me. Well, you know, there are a lot of people who in life have terrible experiences living, you know, right? I'm not one of them. But on the other hand, my life hasn't been particularly easy either. You know, it's kind of like this. And so I have my situations in life, you know, where things hurt. Yeah, there's been times where things hurt really bad. And, well, I got to admit that I have sort of learned to keep a tight hand over my heart. Now, it's in my nature. It's been mentioned by numerous people who've been close to me that I don't let my heart out very much. It's been hurt. But, you know, having the cat around, it's almost as if, well, as Mick Jagger says, you don't always get what you want, but if you try sometime, you just might find you get what you need. Yeah, you know, and that's kind of the way it seems that I needed to kind of untie some of the strings around my heart. Things were pretty tight. If you're if you're into Eastern meditation and Buddhism and things, then you understand about chakras, Well, for a long time, my heart chakra has had a certain amount of blockage. It keeps things from moving properly. Well, the cat got in there. Yeah. And ever since cat got here, little by little by little by little, I find myself being more and more freely emotional than I've ever been. It's part of the cat. I can't fully explain it, but having to grow fond of her has kind of opened up some stuff here, and it's affected how I feel about Ellen, how I feel about just about everything else. It's opened my feelings up a little bit having this cat. I guess it's because she's just so darn innocent and pure, and she says, "Bill, I love you." Okay. Yeah. So, realizing that I was getting attached, maybe more so than with most other pets I've had in the past, I was getting a little scared. Yeah, because, man, I don't want to have to go through loss again, but nothing to do about it, so put up. But it was on my mind, and we had a nursery cat in California named Bonnie who lived for 20 years. She died during the Chinese melamine scare, and so I'm not exactly sure how I feel about that. But anyway, she was a great cat. Yeah, she was a wonderful cat. She wasn't exactly my pet. She was the store's cat, but as far as cats are concerned, she's about almost as good as Gracie. She was special. And, well, anyway, Bonnie finally passed away too, and at about 20 years, this cat really lived. Again, the calculation was difficult because the cat had actually been through several stores, and I had to take the word of other store managers in the chain of when the cat had come in, to the chain as a mouser. It was running as a mouser. But we figured she lived about 20 years. And so I keep looking at Gracie and going, "Gracie, you can live 20 years." Well, feeling a little bit guilty about that because I was sort of hoping maybe I had the opportunity this time that I might pass away before my pet does. Yeah, kind of selfish. Right. But I was watching YouTube, and I don't know, it was some random videos thing. I really don't know even what the heck it was right now, but it was just a bunch of random stuff that had been recorded. And appearances, I think the video was probably shot somewhere in Eastern Europe. It could have been Romania or someplace from the way people dressed and looked, in the buildings. And it was a funeral. That's what was recorded. And it looks like they weren't at a graveyard. The family and the friends were gathered around what looked like a grave in the guy's orchard. I guess they buried him in the orchard. And you can see the fresh soil there where they tunneled him in. Everybody's standing around, and they're moving with their rosaries and crying and, the standard funeral stuff. And, but there's a cat. And this cat, it was just prostrate on the guy's grave, crying. Somebody tried to move the cat. It was having no part of it. Right back again, on top of the guy's grave, laying flat, just crying. I looked at that, and I knew that animals definitely become attached to their people. I know that. But I had really never seen anything quite like this. I may have suspected it with a pet dog, but I didn't really suspect to see this with a pet cat. Well, it was, that was no Photoshop. Poor cat's heart was broken. Well, that kind of stuck in me. And I found myself thinking about, geez, I'd hate like heck to see, Gracie get that way. Because I'm pretty sure that cat has gotten so attached to us that if one of us died, I do believe she'd experience some trauma. So, well, I let it go. I let it go. I did the math. I said, oh, wow, even if this cat lives as long as Bonnie did, there's a pretty good chance that I'll probably outlive her anyway. So the pain will be my own. Well, this is a couple of days ago. Late afternoon into the evening. It was evening. After dinner it was. Gracie and I were in my bedroom. I was laying there watching YouTube. And she watches it with me. She'll curl up next to my knees or something. And if we got cat videos on or dog videos, she gets interested sometimes. She'll watch, but anyway, I conked out. Yeah. Well, again, I didn't realize I was asleep. Thought I was awake. In what I'll call a vision rather than a dream. I looked down at my feet and I saw the cat curled up. So I reached down to pet her, and she was dead. Well, this was such a shock to me that I immediately bounded out of my sleep and everything went. But then I looked down towards Gracie and she was exactly where she had been in the vision, laying there. I reached down, I touched the cat, and the cat meows at me and picks its head up. Like, okay, it was just some kind of strange dream, but that wasn't a regular dream. I figure, like I said, that I often had a rather strange relationship with death and sometimes know things, like when someone will die, or or who will die first, or whatever. Well, I figure it was another one of them visions. And what I had seen, which settled me, was that my cat, Gracie, she's going to pass away peacefully in her sleep. And I'll still be here. So, that video I watched with the cat on the grave, she won't have to experience that. She'll never know. So, it was kind of emotional for me. And it still is bang, right in the face. But now that I realize, I think, why I had seen such a thing, I feel much better about it. To know that my cat will be loved to the end and pass away peacefully. Hang loose.